Alright, first off, I'd like to apologize for submitting this so late. I originally was gonna film this on Wednesday because that's what I did for the last project, but my sister kept being loud and interrupting me, and by the time I filmed like 15 takes, like exactly, and I'm like, okay, I was too tired to finish it, and I just completely forgot about that, so sorry once again. Alright, got a little script this time. For my second musical, I've chosen the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. Oh my gosh, hence the little numbers, because they wore them in that show. Uh, which ran on Broadway from 2005 to 2008 and was directed by James Lapine, so of course that meant the music was by William Finn. If you don't know, they worked together on falsettos, and I think maybe Little Miss Sunshine as well. Don't quote me on the last part though. The choreographer for the show was Dan, oh my gosh. That's not his name. His name isn't Dan, oh my gosh. It's Dan, I think it's Nekjes. I think it's Nekjes, yes. So the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, or Putnam for short, is a musical about, get this, a spelling bee. And you'll never guess which annual one it is. The cast of the Broadway consists of Lisa Howard as Rona Lisa Peretti, the woman who's running the bee, who she has a real passion for spelling ever since she won her first bee as a child. Jay Ress as Vice Principal Doe's Panch, who was quite the card. That's all I can describe him as. I don't really know how I would describe Panch. I don't know how I would describe him. Derek Baskin played comfort counselor Mitch Mahoney, he's like the comfort counselor, obviously, and he's there to do his community service. And fun fact, James Monroe Eigelhart played Mitch Mahoney as well, but not on Broadway. Next up is Detroit native Celia Keegan-Bulger, played by she played Olive Ostrovsky, and she won a Tony for it. Olive is like a shy girl her heads are kind of up in a cloud, and she really hopes that like her dad will come and see her at the spelling bee, but it seems like there's not going to happen. And speaking of Keenan Bulgers, this next character was at some point played by Andrew Keenan Bulger, who you may know as Crutchy. He was in the Dracula musical. That's a little obscure. Tuck Everlasting, he was Jesse, I believe. He was in this, obviously. I think he played Peter Pan. I think. But yeah, he didn't play this next character on Broadway. Jesse Tyler Ferguson of Modern Family played Leaf Coney Bear. And I gotta say, if there's any character in this I want to play, I would want to play Leaf. It's so fun. He's such a fun character. Leaf is very, very much homeschooled. If you watch it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He makes his own clothes. He has a lot of siblings, and they all have like nature names. And Leaf is only there because the first two people who win, the first one had a bat mitzvah, the second person was attending the bat mitzvah. So that's why he's there. So he's like the next runner-up after the runner-up. Alright, so that's next up is Chip Tolentino, who is played by Joe's Lalana. It might be Jose, but there's no accent mark, so I'm not sure. Chip won the 24th annual spelling bee last year, and is extremely confident that he's going to win again. Outside of spelling, he plays baseball and is a Boy Scout. He also throughout the bee picks on William Barfey. Oh, Barfay. That's actually a point in the played by Dan Falder. They call him, some people call him Barfy for all the nights in the show, but his name is like spelled like that. It's actually pronounced Barfay, and I just messed up right there, which is pretty ironic. William was on track to win last year, but had to be disqualified because he had a peanut allergy, and he had to like go out because he obviously was having allergic reaction and dying. Marcy Park was played by Deborah S. Craig, and she's like the stereotypical overachiever who looks down on contestants she deems as less intelligent as her. The last contestant is also the youngest contestant, Logain, Schwartz, and Grubenair. Yeah, so her last name, Logain and Schwartz and Grubenair, is because she has two dads, which is like a plot point that's brought up a lot. And she's like this social justice warrior, blah blah blah. And she's like taught by her father that she always has to win. And but despite all of this, she's still like really nice. And I think it's some adaptations. Logain is like goes by they them, but like the two that I have seen, I saw one in person and one online. Like I I think they refer to Logan as mix, which is like the in between Mr. and Mrs., but they still use like she and her, so I'm not entirely sure on that. I'm just gonna continue with she for now. Actually, I think it'd be smarter to do they, like just in case, because that can go either way. All right. There's also the parents of these kids, like who are they? Oh yes, Olive and not Marcy, Logan, and I think that's it. But they like appear for like a few like songs, and I think Logan's parents appear a lot more. But they're played by actors who are already like in there. Like I think Chip plays one of Logan's dads. I think it's Carl. I think maybe Mitch comes out and plays one of your dads. But like yeah, and like Rona Lisa Paredes, she plays Olive's mom at some point. So I don't need to include like their cast names because they're people who are already listed. But yeah, I'm actually not gonna tell you the plot of this show because it's unlike Little Shop of Horrors, which is I'm sorry, I'm looking up my keychain. I don't know if you can see it. I can't tell because my phone is not facing towards me where I can see myself because I want to get the number right, or you can see the number the full way. But yeah, unlike Little Shop of Horrors where you can like it's pretty known if you haven't watched the plot. Yeah, a plant, alien plant, blah blah blah. But like if you haven't seen it, like yeah, sure, it's obviously about a spelling bee, but like it's a really good show, and I would honestly just recommend seeing it first in person. I recommend first, but if you have to watch like a slime tutorial, that's not an issue. I know Michigan Stage did it a while. They just did it, or they're going. So there's some theater around us that's going to do it. I'm not sure which one though. I know Warren Civic did it like last year, like before Newsies, but yeah. So, but I will tell you how this show kind of works. So there's a lot of like well actually there will be a little spoilers in this, but it's kind of necessary. But there's a lot of audience participation in the show. So first off, the way it worked in the show that I saw, like in person, they people who bought their tickets online previously, they called them out. Sorry, they called them beforehand. And they're like, these ticket numbers, blah blah blah. And we just called their names, and they actually got up on stage. So like for like the first act, they have like people in there, and they have to like because they need people to like go off, and I guess they didn't need that many characters because it'll get pretty confusing. I think it's a good amount of characters that they have already, so that makes sense. They also have at one point, they have like someone be like they like point people in the audience and something. A spotlight will come on for like one character, Lee's sister, and during Chip's Lament, I'm just gonna I don't think I should say the actual title of it. He like throws candy out in the audience, and a lot of times they'll go out in the audience for like the shows and stuff, just because they can. Oh, and like Olive will like talk to someone else, like, oh, my dad's supposed to sit there and that stuff. But yeah, yeah. So every contestant gets a song, and sometimes they get a reprise. Up there, at first, when I was first like recording this video before my little sister interrupted, they had like I felt like oh, it teaches them each way they have to spell because they each have like a method of like being able to spell good. Like okay, I'll say that. William has like he uses his foot to spell the words. Logan uses like she like writes on her arm. Um, Leaf gets possessed by the devil. Not really, but like it's kind of like he's possessed. It's like that. It's just never explained. It's like oh okay, we're just gonna accept that. Marcy's just good. I don't think Chip has one either. And like Olive like whispers in her hand, cause yeah. So each song has like a different thing. Like the guys' songs are more like upbeat. It's kind of like Ride the Cyclone, which is they all talk about like what they want like in life, but like there's like a difference between the guys' songs and the girls' songs. Like in Ride the Cyclone, like all the guys' ones are something they don't have. Like the character, where is he? The character Ricky like has what something he's dreaming about, and same as character Noel, who like they both dream about doing this thing or like using their imagination, and I guess kind of Misha because like we don't know his fiance is real or not. This is getting really off topic, but like yeah, so like the guy characters of Ride the Cyclone like stuff that didn't actually happen in the real life, and the girl character stuff actually does happen in real life. So in this show, the girls ones are a lot more sad. Like Marcy sings about how she's tired of always being the best and blah blah, and like being good, and Olive talks about how she like misses her family, or she like kinda. It's not really that. Oh, and Logan, they talk about how they want like they want like disappoint their fathers, and the boys ones they aren't like necessarily like Leafs is a little bit sad, like not really that sad in the sense that he thinks he's like himself considers himself as an idiot. It's still pretty upbeat and like happy because he's a more upbeat and happy character. Um, Chip's song is also like it's kind of sad from the perspective of the character, which obviously is how a lot of comedy works. Like it's funny to us as the audience, but it's very serious to Chip. His is very funny. It's the fact it's very funny song. Um, William's song is like not sad at all. It's talking about how it's just his technique. So yeah, the guys have their happier songs, and like the girls, I guess Logan, I don't really know what's going on there. They have like their more sadder songs. But yeah, um, it's just a really good show overall, and I highly recommend it. Hence why I didn't want to spoil it. It has like themes of like growing up and like finding yourself and family, and overall, it's just a really great show, and I highly recommend it.